Hi there, Michael André Ford, your American Angel Intuitive. Quick chat about angels and just being in the moment. You do you. You've got it all within. It might sound like a lot to actually be able to see, hear, feel angels, get any answers to any questions, get hugs. Hugs can become healing. Hear all about career stuff, relationship stuff. If you're a business person, get assistance with your decision making. Might sound like a lot to see them full on with your eyes open as angels or humans without wings and then with wings. You can meet figures like Martin Luther King, Mandela, Plato, Gandhi, Einstein, Mary Jesus Muhammad, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Chogyam Trungpa, Mother Teresa, Sylvia Brown. It's 170 figures. You can also meet passed over loved ones and pets. What is this all about? First of all, every single human being has an amazing heart. Now, it may not be this lifetime that you're tapping it, using it all the time, embracing this. It's okay. You have free will. Do what you wish. You're already going to do that. Flow your energy how you will. You're already going to do that as well. But the more awareness you bring in, the more just slowing down, pumping those brakes up here, thinking you need to be somewhere else, thinking you need to be successful on this front, or you have to take these steps or perform a certain way. The more you get to your center, the more it all comes together. The more you discover about life, the universe, yourself. You learn that it isn't about the external details. It's about your presence, being centered. That's all the success in the world, and then everything kind of comes to you. So let me back up. People can have a reaction hearing that angels could exist or that there are beings of light that are around us. They're unconditional love. They don't wish to interfere. You're getting help anyhow, though. You've signed up for a particular life path, and I will just say there are some certain waypoints. If you think of it as a giant slalom course, the giant ski slalom courses, there are those gates that you have to go through. I'm going to argue everybody has at least 10 gates that they got to go through in life, maybe more, maybe less. And so to help you get through those gates, like 5 years from now, you need to be at a certain place, certain time. Angels will help you on that. Also, if you're asking for help, that's a different matter. Some stuff, though, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Everything is your instruction. If you went by just those two principles alone, you'd be all set for life. What else? You can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. That defies all logic. That defies all societal norms. Again, the concept that you could just be happy now, unconditionally, for no reason whatsoever, it challenges every ego, every psyche, every bit of resistance that's out there. The job of ego or psyche is to literally manage and control everything you're taking in. It resists love, it resists the opportunity to be open, and it resists the authentic side of you, the bigger you, the you that's always been there, the you that you tapped into yesterday, today, 50 times today, but you gave yourself no credit for. It's sort of an unconscious flow in you for the most part until you discover the difference between this vibration up here and this vibration down here. Huge difference. Hot stove, thinking, concrete thinking, judging, knowing to the preclusion of possibility, stress, worry, fear. It's pretty much fear, but sometimes down to 1% of 1% of 1%. Thinking's going to happen. Try not to beat yourself up because you're doing thinking. Welcome to being human. I don't think a lot of the world, especially scientific community, views thinking as a hindrance. It definitely is a slow route. It definitely, let me say it a different way. You could ask an angel a question or a light being or Plato or Einstein, and you could get a symphony of light in as the answer that's 400,000 words. And it could be like that. And you're going to unpack it over time. So that's the most efficient route, is getting beyond words to understanding, to connect through energy, through light waves. I don't know what else to call it, through light. That's a great way to get a book. Or if you're an artist, a singer, you want to drop the next album, you could close your eyes. Visually is also really good. You could see your next album. If you're in Hawaii, sitting with angels like this, just sitting here like this, and you've arrived in Hawaii, I help people do this. They get to go surfing. They surf like a professional. But when the fun's done with the surfing, you get to go hang out and have a luau. Sometimes that's when you have a ceremony with angels. Your relatives are there. If you're going to be upset about if you're going to get emotional about the relatives, they'll be parked at a distance. If you're cool with it, you could have a relative or a loved one sit right next to you and join you and chat with them. Two-way, full experience. But you could be shown on like barges out over the ocean. You could be shown some of your projects, stuff like that. That's what's beautiful about this. From kind of a societal project creativity standpoint. It's great for creativity. It's great for healing. It's great for just meeting your cheerleading squad. You're not alone. I guess I should have started with this. You're not alone. You're loved whether you know it or not. I've only met like one person the last decade who's like, I don't even know what love is, and that's never quite true. Your love is just simply the fabric of the universe. It's in every moment. If you have any questions about that, slowing down is what would do a world of wonder for most of us. Moi, you, Frank, Harry, Sally in Sri Lanka, you name it. Slowing down is all we have to do for almost anything to begin the process of resolution so we can move on to the next set of problems or the next set of opportunities. Nobody says my problem is, well, everybody says my problem is, my situation is. No one says when they just got laid off from IBM or Google after 30 years or 10 years, however long you could actually work at Google. No one says, oh, thank goodness this happened to me. Now I can start my business, go on my vacation, start a family. No one gets excited about the bad news because, again, it's my problem is, my situation is, you don't understand my situation. I got 19 dogs, 6 divorces, this, that. It's up here. And up here, again, is trying to control or trying to absorb in a controlled method or manner. The constant change that life is in and around us. So I help people let go out of their structure, which can be a little nerve-wracking when you come back to up here. You're like, what just happened? There's a lot of people who get so nervous about it that they kind of go right back to being a shut-tight oyster. That's from Luc Besson's Angel-A. You can find that at my website, michaelandreford.com. Go to the suggested reading page, get past the books, the audio CDs and stuff like that, and go to the movies. And that's a beautiful movie. That's a lot of fun. There's some just such good, it's subtitled, it's all in French. They shut Paris down, did a black and white film in like 2010, I think. And it is just so packed with beautiful stuff in there. You should enjoy that. So you could be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. You have all the amount of energy and all the connections in the world right now that you'll ever have. You're fully connected. You're fully flowing love and light. You just have to slow down to pay attention and be like, oh my gosh. Taking a breath. Breathing, smiling, laughing, dancing, cooking, putting your hands in the soil, gardening, running, exercise, taking a hot shower, taking a cold shower, reading a book. There's a million ways to begin tapping into those flows that are you. There's a certain amount of trust, a certain amount of faith, whether it's religious faith, non-religious faith, it's all the same letting go to get to here. Your heart is already fully connected. When you're in your heart and you're doing this thing called love or compassion or openness, opening openness is what this is all about. You're connected to everything all at once. So you and I are connected, everyone else is connected, and so on. It's also about learning, though, good boundaries. Some people are so sensitive that they're picking up on everything, and they don't realize it, and they're wondering why they're ill all the time, stressed all the time. You just walk through a supermarket, a mall, or your workplace, and you come home and you're having thoughts that aren't really yours. Guess what? Newsflash, that happens. Especially if you can catch yourself and be like, wow, those thoughts are really heavy. Backtrack and ask yourself, where were you in the last couple hours or a couple days? You do need to probably develop a little practice to clear out, like when you walk into your home, keep your home energetically fresh. That's a sort of a feng shui thing. I use sage. So I can blow you a little bit of sage. I do this on a lot of the shows, most of the shows that I'm a guest on. I do it on my show, Angels, Positivity, and Love. We've had Lorna Byrne, Jennifer McLean as guests, Echo Bodine, Dr. Eben Alexander with Karen Newell, each are coming back on solo. Raymond Moody's coming up with Paul Perry, the Afterlife researchers. Leanne Whitney is taping in January. Paul Sugar's been on. It goes on and on and on. There's an Australian actor, Ian Stenlake, I'm a huge fan of. If you're seeing this, thank you, Ian, for coming on. I'm looking forward to taping with you. Ewan Brioch, theater director, Welsh, so fantastic. Actor, theater director, has an amazing YouTube channel series where he's the director of that, 4 Simple Questions. He grabs an experiencer and what I would say is a pretty famous, scientist type, philosopher, researcher, and they sit together and they make nice, but they talk 4 simple questions. So Lisa Cairns was on one episode with Carl Friston, who's a British neuroscientist. Just really fun product from Ewan. So he's on a panel coming up with Leanne Whitney and Paul Sugar. I'm taping that in November, and this is 2023. But it doesn't matter if you're seeing this in 2025. You haven't missed anything. There's no time and space the way you think. Now, that's another one of those things, and I'm just going to try to say, allow for this. When you think of the cousin and they call you or email you the next day or instantaneously, that's okay. That's why it's all so much bigger than your brain's ever going to allow for. Don't get worried or freak out or have to have control over what you think's happening in and around you. Just allow for more. A little bit of sage smoke, Juniper Ridge, you can find that on my website as well. I'm not sponsored or anything, but you get it at a Whole Foods. It's very consistent. Catch the scent of sage wherever you are in the world. Brisbane, Australia, 2 show hosts smelled it. For Shift Network, a woman in the States, another woman in the States, and a woman in Latin America. They each got to smell it at the same time on the same Zoom call in different locations. Why let the sage smoke just smell like sage? Ask for the scent of flowers. Let angels, your relatives, your guides, your cheerleading squad, you have a big cheerleading squad, let them bring you the smell of wisteria or lavender or sage. Or, sage wouldn't make sense, but something else like hibiscus, that desert rose smell you haven't had in 10 years back when you lived in Arizona. You know what you like. They know what you like. You could just start to trust more and be like, hey, angels, make it really nice. And if you have to close your eyes to smell, do it. That's what a good American does, is question everything and close your eyes on everything as well. I've got photos of angels. Go check those out at the website. But for now, if you need help, need boost, my only request methodology here, or only bit of structure besides pen and paper is nice, is ask angels to make it nice. Ask them to do the job of helping you out of your head into your heart. Be like, hey, help me smell. My sense of smell might not be good. I've had people who have really bad senses of smell, and yet this is energy. So they can taste it on their mouth. They can still have, angels will help navigate past your nose so you still smell it. It's just like colorblind people have seen color, and it's not a permanent situation. I think I've only helped 3 or 4 colorblind people see color. It's angel light. This is a red-tailed hawk feather. I'm just blowing it through 2 screens wherever you are. Don't worry about the time factor. You're watching this in 2026 in Germany, then enjoy. And let it be a healing energy over you. Catch that extra scent of flowers or your favorite beach. What will you allow for? So forget all the details. What will you allow for is the true question. And I'll quote Dull Knife, life is a feast, partake. In some ways, as one of my guests just said, I think life's, more all about the experience. Joseph Campbell talks about that in The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. So this is really a quick video, and I'm a little all over, but in a way not. You've got a big heart. You've got all the Jedi skills in the world. If we use a Star Wars analogy, you can see light in your hand. You can have angels make a butterfly for you. That butterfly could land in your hand. You could bring it in for a hug in the heart. You wouldn't smush the butterfly. It's just made out of angel light. You can get any answers to any questions, all languages, all dialects. So if you're from a certain country with a certain dialect, plus you're from that one remote city, town, village, and you have to hear it a certain way, you might get humor with that sort of idiom that is only spoken in Hindu or Telugu because you're in that remote mountain village of India. And no one could possibly understand that phrase. Besides, I don't see your answers or questions. For the most part, some people like to share. I used to go over that stuff like 8, 9, 10 years ago. But you write your answers down. That's even more impactful. You're very comfortable with pen and paper. It's not automatic writing. You're actually like, you can full on see who you're talking to. You can see Plato, see Jesus, see Mary, see your Uncle Frank, see Mandela, see Mother Teresa, Sylvia Brown, all of them at once, and just have kind of a panel thing, ask the same question. Each one can give you a response. Each one can give you 3 responses. I typically do 3 figures, 1, 2, or 3 answers each. If you're a salesperson, it might be 10 answers each. Who do I call next for business? Business people are some of my favorite. They're super disciplined. They're just kind of ready to go in a way that, to me, they're the more avant-garde spiritual group in America. They just know how to listen. They know what they want. That's kind of the prime ingredients here. If you don't know what you would ask, I get that once in a while. It's just sort of an ego thing. Oh, I don't know what I would ask about. Well, then be like, hey, I don't know what to ask about. What are my top 3 or 4 questions? Geronimo, St. Francis, and Mother Teresa, or Kuan Yin. What should I ask about? Well, your situation is known. You're on a particular trajectory in life. You've got different life stages. You've got different career, relationship, personal development. You're here for a reason. You have a unique life path. If you're the type that's kind of resisting this and you're like shut down a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that. Welcome to being human. You can still ask, well, what are the questions that'll help pry me loose and get me going so I get interest and get behind the process of asking about life? What should I be doing more? What can I let go of? What can I start doing? What can I keep doing? The classic corporate start, stop, keep for your habits. How can I have more fun? Probably the number one question. How can I use what I've got? How can I be in my heart more? How can I walk a smoother path? These are all questions that, like, do you have 15 hours? Spend 15 hours with angels? How fast can you write? Do you have a friend who can step in? Because your wrist is going to cramp after 9 hours and 6 legal pads. And 9 hours or 8 hours is the record. I think 48 pages of answers. Australians, New Zealanders, Canadians, people from India, bravo. Some of the bravest and boldest, and they make it look easy. They just are like, okay, what's next? Got it. So it's sort of like, are you going to be a duck to water? You just, if it's water is the metaphor for stress, a duck just knows how to shake and get the water off their back. It doesn't matter which way we're talking about it. There's sort of a interaction with life that is sparkly. You can walk a lighter walk. You can walk a smoother path. You can enjoy more kindness, compassion, sizzle, while still being completely efficient if you're worried about job, career, athletics. You're an athlete. So I'm trying to say you can have your cake and eat it too. The core intersection of everything is your heart. So I do transdimensional channeling, which allows for a multidimensional experience. I'm saying that more often because I think that is a bit of phraseology that's coming up more and more because of the whole UFO, UAP thing. Maybe it's a shock, maybe it's not. Maybe everything isn't just quite the way we think it is. It's not like your relatives or ghosts or whatever you want to call it. I'm strictly on the unconditional love side of things. But all these figures, it's not like they're just sitting around on your couch 24/7, living with you and sharing the rent. If it's Jesus, Mary, Plato, and so on, or Archangel Michael and Gabriel, they're somewhere else, and they can be in many places at once. The whole time-space thing doesn't really apply. But I think we just showed a couple different ways. Time-space doesn't quite work the way you think it is, or the way it does. If I blow you sage, it's coming through 2 screens, and it could be 2025, but you're watching a 2023 video. That's okay. Get over it. Try not to dwell on stuff you're not going to be able to grasp. Most of this is beyond grasp, and so that's okay too. It's because it's not about thinking or grasping. It's not about thinking. This is about less thinking, less grasping, more trusting. Get past word structure, organizations this, seminar that, institute this. You could try to research your way into consciousness all you want, but that's like chasing your tail if you're a cat or dog. Keep doing the consciousness studies. You have to. That's what humans do. But if you want to just slice right through it all in an instant, everything happens here and everything happens in an instant. What will you allow for is really the question. Get away from angels, get away from light beings, get away from God, Mary, Jesus. You can meet God. You can do the Neil Donald Walsh thing. I just describe God as all voices at once. there I'll say it's a little pious or not serious, but you got to be on a roll for listening. You've got to be able to handle it like a champ. It's kind of like meeting your relatives. You should meet angels first, a couple Native American chiefs, hear that it's okay, have a chat with them about meeting Aunt Sarah, hear that that's okay. Do your seeing first. The further away the distance, the easier for the mind, the psyche, because it wants to block everything. But if you're a super relaxed person or have had just a lot of life experience, so you're not even worried about any of these topics, then you could have angels sit with you. And if you're really gung-ho, you can have angels sit with you in human form. I mean, you'll see him in human form, but it's more like Obi-Wan Kenobi, 1977 Star Wars, after he's passed and been, this by Darth Vader. A little more, not physically, they'll still come in pretty strong. But physical is physical. Like if you did a little punch on the shoulder, they could punch you back on the shoulder, or whatever I'm trying to say, a poke. So what I'd say for that is you can make the invitation for angels to show up around you. You can ask for signs. That's the big popular thing today, is to ask for signs, so you can allow for a toe to get dipped in the pool of possibility here. So yeah, ask for a sign. Get a feather, get a heart shaped out of a leaf. Get a reminder on something on a commercial that you were just saying 5 minutes ago. There's a million ways to get a sign. 11:11 on your clock or your oven, microwave clock. But you can also see a little ball of light. You can see Penelope go by. I've got photos of angels galore. They're all over my website, social media, on these videos. It's a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's definitely not a hair or a beam of light from a car driving by. You can just see full on. Photos, historical photos will wink, smile, shoulder waggle. Audrey Hepburn's photo, eyebrow goes up. You can hear her laugh, smell a perfume from France that's yet to be invented. If it's an energetic photo, some of the angels, I've got 3 different ways. My guardian angel, you'll see her on my website, a bunch of different ways. Those photos can move and change color. That's not the point of the exercise, is to prove anything here. But it goes a long way for just settling the nerves. All of us have inquisitive brains, but the inquisitiveness, the curiosity, is kind of in the pain in the ass side of the equation. It's the up here, the part of us that worries about the bills, or worries about the stature, or worries about the career, or worries about this, or worries about that, or rejects this, or reacts to this. If it's politics, religion, the world's doing this, the environment is doing this. Really, I'm going to mention something here that one angel said that I'm still working on 10 years later. We're all human. We're all going to reject fear, worry, and categorize and literally judge other organizations, people, to no end. It's not going to, if you could just do 5% less thinking, is what an angel said. Actually, 7% less thinking a week, a day, a month. That's the Olympic gold medal here for letting go and enjoying a totally smoother path. So an angel once said it's not up to humans to fix anything. I think they were talking about Mother Earth. There's a lot of beings of light, unconditional love, whatever you want to call them, the positive crowd that are here looking out for you. You're completely protected if you're worried about the whole alien UAP disclosure thing. But let's pick that community for a second. They are pushing FOIA, disclosure, this government organization, that private company needs to do this, and that's fine. It could be another 20 years, it could be next week, it could be somewhere in between, and we'll get revelatory discoveries on the science, technology. Oh, hey, we're not alone, shocker. But when you look at mankind and how we conduct ourselves, especially with our thinking, what we know one day versus the next, it completely changes. When we look at scientific discoveries, wait a week, it changes as well. Our thinking, our science, our what we know, and we all agree collectively is what we know, is probably, good for this far. And the universe is way bigger than this house that I'm in right now. It's bigger than the state of Texas. It's bigger than America. And so this, what we know, the lighter or this, ain't going to compare to what the universe really is. So if you want to kind of get with the program, flip the time glass here, the hourglass, and even get out of the hourglass, you just have to get to your heart. It's Plato's cave. Plato will talk to you about that. It's getting out of what you know long enough that you no longer have any fixed points that are holding you back. Those are the viewing lenses through which you've been judging your life path, others who interact with you, your business, your personal development, what's possible, what's not possible. Not talking hang gliding, but I'm just talking, there's a lot of ways we get stuck, and sometimes that stuckness stays with us. And this is all about that Buddhist term, suchness, that you get to develop instead. It's your authentic presence, power, your heart, your interconnectedness with all, your shine, your glow, your sparkle, your artisticness. That's probably not even a word, but your athleticness, if we're making up another word, you get the idea. It's the be all you can be, to be or not to be. Not to be is all the structured stuff. It's the slowest route. If you're a scientist wanting to do real discovery, why wouldn't you chat with universal beings of light? Angels, Einstein, Plato, Gandhi, Mandela, Seneca, Mary. There's hundreds and hundreds, there's thousands of angels, tens of thousands of angels. Beings of light, they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. They can answer any question. They speak all languages, all dialects. They already know where you're at. They probably already know what your question's going to be. Once in a blue moon, you'll hear them move on if it's a question you really shouldn't be asking about Bob's business, and Bob's your neighbor. But the rest of it, you can get any answer to any question. That's a lot of allowing. So let's take angels and take all the woo-woo-woo stuff out of the way. Let's take the entire holistic wellness spiritual community out of America, out of the way, or the world. Let's take all of it out of the way. It comes down to one thing. You're a human being. What will you allow for in this single moment? Can you just spontaneously put on some music and dance? Can you laugh for no reason at all? Can you delight in petting your pooch? Again, I got 2 dogs behind me. If you hear some noise, they always jump up and bark at the latest UPS or FedEx truck that goes by. Life's meant to be lived. Again, life is a feast, partake. It's about love, so it's loving more and allowing more. I've got a panel coming up. We're taping it in November. It'll come out then. It's a little bit more about non-duality, compassion, but 3 amazing guests. Again, Welsh Theater Director Ewan Brioch, Leanne Whitney, and Paul Sugar. Don't forget to check that out. I just had a beautiful near-death experience panel that was about life and compassion as well. It was Michelle Clare, psychic medium, Ingrid Honkala, and Dr. Evan Alexander. I'm working on another panel with 3 more amazing guests. I'll be super excited to announce that one. And I'm working on yet another panel also with 3 more amazing guests. Keep your eyes out on those panels. If you don't mind a quick public service announcement, you're liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing to the YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/@Michael André Ford is super helpful. The algorithm takes that into account. So even if you just say nice job, or I liked what Evan said, or what Terry said, or I agree with Leanne, or I once had this experience, even if you just hit the like button, the thumbs up button, that is tremendous for the growth of this channel. So sometimes it makes a difference between thousands of people seeing this and just 500 or 100. We're a super small channel, but with a really big footprint. We've got really big names coming on. I'm thankful for everybody in 2023, but we're already getting booked into 2024, I think a quarter of the way. So there are the panels, and I'm starting something called the APL show. That's Angels, Positivity, and Love. The APL show Spotlight series. You'll see people a much deeper dive that's meant to provoke compassion within, calmness, and so it's a gentle evoking of compassion and a sense of harmony. A lot of truths, and not the relative truths, but sort of universal truths coming out of that vibration. You'll see people interacting with angels more and maybe seeing more. They'll simply be in the heart. They'll also hopefully share a little more than you would get on a regular show. The regular shows, you're going to be able to check out their origin story. So this APL Spotlight series is something that hopefully, if you haven't seen the person on their regular origin story show, on the APL show, you'll want to go check them out more. And if it's the other way around, you've seen them that way, then this is just a great way, if you've enjoyed them, to see them in action more. And maybe in action with, again, angels and guides and loved ones. It all depends on the individual and how willing they are to, do something that's very personal for all of us. This is really about personal transformation, personal acceptance of the now, the present moment, an ability to let go of the details, because a lot of what happens to us, we like to complain about it or say my problem is, my situation is, but it becomes a badge of honor. It becomes part of our life story. We tell it to everyone and everything. We tell it to ourselves a million more additional times, and it becomes ingrained, and if we're a ball of light, it stays with us in our energy field. And in an instant, you know this, you could literally let go of just about anything that doesn't serve and be a lighter, shinier, happier person. Charles Dickens did us a great service with Christmas Carol and Scrooge. It's a quick reminder that a 2-minute nap with a lot of dreamtime action happening, goes to Christmas past, present, future, can get it all done for you. He woke up a happier fellow, asked what day it was, tossed a coin out the window, got the goose, and started handing out gifts. But it's not about the Christmas thing completely. It's about shining within. He turned into a great business person, even better than he was before. He was miserly before. He had dental floss for his life energy flow. And instead, he became interconnected with all. When he walked down the street, people felt him. He greeted people. He looked them in the eye. He wished them well. He truly was love and the embodiment of love. Plus, he did good business. And he was jolly and so on. So this is a reminder that it never quite works the way you think it does. And again, it's not about thinking. So this is about being a shinier, sparklier you, embracing a little more love, allowing for this possibility. It starts with a breath, a smile. There's a million ways to get here. There's a million ways to be trapped up here. If it's about words or structure or organizations, odds are it's more egoic thinking, period. Odds are. I'd place money on it because it's almost a safe bet if you get out of words that you know you're in your heart. So keep that in mind as well. If it's about words, it's probably having to do up here unless it's a beautiful mantra given to you by Sai Baba, Meher Baba, Vishnu, Krishna, Ganesh, Lakshmi, Rama, Mother Teresa, the tiger, the Divine Mother, the tiger who hangs out with the Divine Mother. I was just helping somebody in the US feel the tiger's fur. That tiger is awesome. You have it all. Now this is going to start to dawn on you. When you're in your heart, you're intersecting with all that's love. This is all about love. Everything else is kind of a waste. You don't have to have a near-death experience to have your life flashed before your eyes to show you every little nuance or morsel of your life and decision-making so you could see where you were flowing love versus shut tight like an oyster. And good luck with all this. Everything that I've said, reject it, toss it out, go right back to the day you're already going to have, and now laugh. If you want to see it without talking about it, it's this. That's thinking when we're shut tight like an oyster. That's when we're having a bad sports day, a bad hair day, a bad kitchen day, the recipe. I forgot half my ingredients. I either forgot to buy them at the store or when I made the Caesar salad, I forgot the egg, the mustard, and the vinegar, and oh my God, I put too much salt in. That's this. And welcome to being human. This is Casablanca. There's gambling going on in the casino. That's a lot of thinking up here. And anybody who knows that old black and white with Humphrey Bogart, I'm shocked to see there's a lot of gambling going on in this casino. You want to get rid of that, get to here. Everything shifts, a shift in consciousness. Angels can help you with this, but you can help yourself with it. Open your hand up, blow on it. If you want to see light around a lighter, this is just a regular lighter. Say whatever color you see in a normal American setting. It's just orange, gold, white, yellow. You can't lose here. Pick your own thing. Say it out loud, though, at home. And say it in a boisterous way so you shock yourself with your chi, your shakti, your mana, your energy, your suchness. Now, I'll do it. But ask angels, your cheerleading guides, your invisible supporters, all the loved ones. Who cares about the definitions? Maybe it's Leonardo da Vinci, Martin Luther King, Plato, Seneca, Einstein. It's a long list. It's at my website, michaelandreford.com. There's, I think, about 100 testimonials. I think I've got about the 100th one coming in any day now. Ask them to add extra light to this. You have to allow. Take a breath. Be in your heart. If you have to leave a hand on your heart for extra help, and here's my secret sauce, my secret formula. Just take it with a grain of salt. Angels, get me out of my head into my heart. Make this nice. Help me let go. Help me see with my heart. Amen. Rock and roll. Thank you. If you're from India and you roll this way, say Om Sai Ram. It's got to be your specific patented method of thumping your chest and getting here. You would do this before you play tennis and you want to go win the tournament or play a good game or just relax to let go. It's what you do hopefully before a cup of tea to slow way down. So ask for help. See a little bit of light around the light. Let angels bring you a couple sparkles, a flash. If you're trying too hard on the light on the lighter, let a ball of light go by right in front of you by your eye. That's Penelope maybe, if she does a little slow wiggle. If you want to hear her voice, hi, it's Penelope. She's a very loving, fun angel. She's one of my chief healing angels, my limo driver for this stage in life. Look, this is far bigger than we're ever going to grasp, but now maybe you're understanding why Christmas Carol came about. Why did Peter Pan come about? You can meet fairies. I have photos of fairies. Go to the website, check it out. The worst thing that could happen is you spend $3 on a photo of an angel named Joy, and maybe pick up Tinkerbell. Maybe pick up the fairy named Ginger. Put them in your iPhone. Carry your iPhone for a little bit. If you're in the middle of a big city, pause in the middle of the workday as you were walking, sit by the fountain, pull the photo out, leave your eyes on the photo. Now you can have a staring contest forever, but you might as well get down to business and be like, hey, Joy, what do I need to know in life right now? And hear a little whisper. For 1 second, it'll be your own voice. What do you think half your intuition's been this entire time? It's your cheerleading squad finding a gentle way to break it to you, to give you good advice. They want to help you out. You're not in a vacuum. If it's the voice that says hop in the Jaguar and go 120 miles an hour, that's your ego. Other elements out there. I only do the positive stuff. So let her do her job. Let angels do their job. You can stick to the way you're already operating, which is one way, one-dimensional. Congratulations. Welcome to being human. Every one of us operates this way. You fire off your emotions, your thinking, your words, your judgments, your reacting, your fear, your stress. It's still like a sound wave going out or an energy wave. And guess where it goes? It boomerangs back and it hits you. So if you could simply be more mindful, are you flowing your energy out of the hot stove? That's the brain, thinking, ego, intellect. Woo! A lot of intellect out there. And the more there are words, the more it's obviously, or could be, an more egoic thinking or structure. Because truly love goes beyond words. Love is something you feel. I'll do Winnie the Pooh. Piglet asks Winnie the Pooh, how do you spell love? And Winnie the Pooh said, you don't spell it, you feel it. And that's everything we need to say about all of this. So feel what you feel. If it's unpleasant, don't judge. Try not to get caught up in the trap of the ripple effect. Somebody did something to you. They bumped into your car. Or the neighbor said something. It was online. You reacted to this. You reacted to that. Your job is to figure out, well, hey, do I want to experience more of this? If not, how can I pivot? I think Abraham Hicks does that really well. Group of light beings. You can meet Seth from the 1970s. You can talk to an angel named Charlotte who can tell you all about either Seth or Abraham Hicks. Chat with her. She's been around the block. When you go to see her, Santa Fe, New Mexico, garb, turquoise jewelry. She's one of my business managers. Blah, 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 blah. None of my details or anything I'm telling you makes a whit of difference. But I am here to just say, categorically, absolutely, you have it all. You are already an interdimensional being, whether you knew it or not. When you thought of that cousin and they called at that moment, maybe the old phones where you could actually pick up and they're there, or you were thinking about them and they messengered you or something. All those synchronicities, what do you think that's about? Nothing is as linear as you think it is. But of course, if you want to live in a black and white, one-dimensional setting, do it. Your free will, your life. I think it's Henry James who said this. If you haven't had your life, what have you had? So this is really about allowing more, loving more, getting out of what you thought your little bubble was about and experiencing what actually the universe has to offer for you. And shocker here, here's the big enchilada. What you came in to not learn, but what you came in to experience, you have a unique life path. And so you can ask angels to help you define it, alter it, modify it. If you're having trouble with adjusting on a certain front, you can get help with that. It's amazing what conversation you can have with angels, and you can hear what's possible, what's not. Some stuff's written if we're talking like medical conditions. Keep doing your prescriptions, your doctors, and everything else. I never tell you a thing, but you can have these conversations and find out what's doable, time frames. It's based on your letting go. What are you, how studious, how attentive. How much are you willing to slow down and pay attention? So for those that aren't willing to slow down or pay attention, keep doing what you're doing, but you're one-weighing. You're stating how things are, and that's an energy flow, and that's what's coming back to you. So the sooner you figure out how it all actually works in life. Dog barking interruption there. So I was just talking about putting it all together. You're already putting it all together. You just don't know it. Part of you knows exactly what to do. Part of this should resonate with. Part of you has already been functioning fully fine when it comes to the Jedi skills, being interconnected to all there is. It's called your heart. You'll know it just though on the soccer field or in the kitchen when you're making a recipe and it was flawless, smooth. You know it when you go to flip the light switch on the wall right there. Do you agonize? Do you get a legal pad and sit for 2 hours planning your angle of attack on the light switch? Do you worry about the consequences of not getting it the first try? Do you agonize 2 weeks later over did you brush that left molar? Did you flip the light switch correctly right here? No, you just did it, and you did it probably pretty well. You don't triple check to make sure the light went on. It's not like the mailbox where you make sure the letter got mailed in Sleepless in Seattle or When Harry Met Sally. My point is, there's a million little tasks you're doing just great walking. It's miracles in every moment. And the more you slow down and the more you start practicing appreciation, allowing your attitude, softening it a little, the more the door to your heart and to the universe that's within and around you creaks open more and more. And it doesn't just creak open. It gets thrown open wide if you're just willing to stop with the words, the egoic structure, the limits. I don't think I've said the word limits too much. All of this is about limits. I mean, humans up here from the neck up, we make limits. Science. It's actually not discoveries. It's just peeling back one more layer of limits to go a little broader. But it's like a glacial pace. So science is like the last place you necessarily want to look because it's so steeped in glacialness. We'll make up another word. If you want to get your answers, chat directly with the universe. End of story. You want to find out about where your travels should be, which hotel, which guide to hire, which restaurant to go to tonight, where to go for a cup of coffee. No question is too big or small. What will you allow for? I mean, I'd say everybody deserves a town monument or a medal for having to have the guts or the courage to step up and ask questions and to listen. It's just basic listening. But our brain is so conditioned to think this is fearful. And the reason why is the ego is technically threatened by the possibility of complete, total love. It's not surrender the way a lot of people say it. It's surrendering briefly your total control over what you think, life is about, what your situations are, debt, illness. You're a scientist or a professor that hasn't been promoted twice. You're only an assistant professor. It's this way, an Eddie thinking, ego, blah, blah, blah. We all do this. We do this to no end. You can walk a smoother, lighter path. You just have to kind of get out of your own way, get over I don't like the word self-importance or it's what Einstein said. The consciousness that spots a problem, recognizes a situation the way it is, isn't the same consciousness that moves you past it. And even when you do move past it, life, as Archangel Gabriel said, are ebbs and flows. It's just the way human beings roll. It's the contrast and the amount of love that you do that gives everything such flavor. I'm borrowing from everybody right now. But it's easing off the pedal of the mind, the accelerator of the thinking, the rationale, the rationality, logic, reason, science, evidence-based this, evidence-based that, the way it is, the way it must be, the whole restrictive, especially group think, I guess is what I was trying to get to. Blow that stuff up. That was a plunger. Blow it up right now because none of that actually holds much water, if anything. You could probably sum up on the tip of your finger what you need to know, and that's love. But if we get to specific interests, hobbies, careers, and so on, people have a lot of questions. How fast can you write? That's the limit. Ask a question about this, ask a question about that. Go for a walk with an angel or a light being and actually chat in person. Why not? So what I was going to suggest was tee up the opportunity for angels to pop in. I think most people are still going to be in the shock zone. They're going to be shocked if an angel showed up and held open a coffee shop door for you. I think it's called an ontological shock or whatever. They talk about it with aliens and everything else. But remember, on that whole topic, sure, there are lots of beings on the planet. There's lots of organisms, everything else. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of stuff beyond our grasp. I'm strictly talking the cheerleading crowd that's unconditional love. It's light. They can show up in human form. They'd be the closest thing to Star Trek from the 1960s. But the Captain Kirk and Spock and everybody else, they're the light beings, and we're usually the people on the planet, you and I, that they're trying to help without interfering. That's true unconditional love. You have to be willing to want to do some adjustments in life, some listening, some appreciation, some shifting of energies if you want. We all waste tremendous amounts of energy. If there's a great quote, it's on my website. I love Joe Shu's Zen stuff. I don't know if this is 600 AD, 600 BC. I think it's 600 AD, 500 AD, something like that. Joe Shu is a Zen master, I think out of China originally. Zhao Zhao in China, Joe Shu in Japan. But there are these great quotes, and a student comes running up to the master and always tries to challenge the teacher and say, hey, look, I've arrived. Give me an A in the class. I'm here, and I'm all interconnected with life. We'll do that. I'm in my heart. I've arrived. The fruit is ripe, and more than ripe, it's eaten. I'm using some Buddhist expressions now. But there's one expression, what about it when I seek to be Buddha, the student asked of the teacher. The teacher, quick as a whip, cat-like reflexes, responds, what a tremendous waste of energy. And that's all of us. We're all running around and seeking. We're trying to be by doing. And instead, the answer is to do by being. If you're here first in the heart, everything you touch is love, and therefore success. You're in the moment. Good luck with that. Remembering to do that twice a month or twice a year. So the student then asked a follow-up question. Well, what if I stop wasting energy? And the answer from the teacher was, in that case, you are Buddha. So if you're worried about global issues, and you know what these are, if you're worried about the situation on the globe, there's a lot of words for it, the environment, energy consumption, this and that, why not go to the biggest energy user of all time, and that's you. And I'm not trying to clue in the police out there that's running around judging everything, the thought police, whoever these folks are, with the next thing. We all personally don't need to be evaluated on how we're spending our thinking. I mean, that's like trying to hand out tickets at the Indy 500. Good luck with that. That could be a full-time job for all of us. Instead, just can you do a little less thinking? 5% less, 7% less wasting energy here or there. And that's just catching yourself before you pass judgment on yourself. We beat ourselves up more than we would ever know. We don't even know half the time when we're down on ourselves. So there's kind of creating a fire break and giving ourselves a chance to breathe and to recover. As a kid, you usually had it all for a certain point, and then adults came into the situation, or a traumatic experience, a car wreck, somebody did something to you, you get out of whack. It's like getting submerged underwater. Sometimes you reemerge and then something else happens. There's loss of life around you, you react, it gets embedded in you. So I am talking about the shedding of those energies so that you can breathe easier, walk easier. You don't feel like you're carrying around invisible Samsonite luggage of energy on your back. Literally, people yawn, sometimes a lot in a row, or cry, tear up. It's not bad. I didn't tell them a bad dad joke. I use a lot of humor to try to get you to ditch the locked on like a missile out of Top Gun. You're locked up here with how you are, your roles, your achievements, your failures, what you think, where you're at, your life story, the way it is. Why not talk to the actual referees who are there every step of the way? One of my guests this year, Teresa Shantz, she's coming back on. I love her perspective on everything. It's like, hey, if it doesn't happen this lifetime, it's okay. You'll get to it next lifetime. She's very patient. And so I would try to communicate the same thing to you right now. Shrug and just be like, if I can do this, it's as simple as taking a breath. Look, Christmas Carol, Scrooge, Ebenezer, good old Ebenezer, he got ramrodded, but he must have signed up for that. He got put through the washer and the dryer and then stuck back in the hole. He got sent to a Chinese laundromat for extra cleaning. That guy had it rough, but look how he turned out in the end. And think about how we judge him. When I say Ebenezer Scrooge, and there's other names for him, you don't have the best thoughts of the guy first. You only remember the bad part. You forget that he's the most jolly, loving, sparkly soul on the planet by the end of those 79 pages. So if you need, with the holidays coming up, you need a little 79 page, put your feet up by the fireplace or read under a tree, there's your book for you. Or do the animated version or the black and white movies. I've got those on my reading list as well. Look, I'm going to sign off here, except I'm going to encourage you to check out the Listening to Angels book. It's $4.99 US, $4.99. It's been twice the #2 bestseller in Angels. Anita Moorjani, the New York Times bestseller, near-death experiencer, who's wonderful. I've invited her on the show. If she's watching this, please come on the show. It'd be wonderful. She wrote a really nice, beautiful, short little review. I think 3 or 4 sentences. Thank you for that, Anita. Very grateful. Check that book out. It's super short, written by angels. If anyone thought that I wrote that, thank you very much. It's clearly, after you've heard me speak, not something I would have written. It's super gentle language. I don't think anyone's going to react to it. But you'll find that you're unable to read it if you're in a bad mood. It truly is angel writing. So if you did it every day, you would feel lighter. Just reading it is touching angels. There's so many other ways to say that. Just by touching water and allowing the universe to come in, you're lightening up. Just by lighting a candle, by lighting some incense, by hugging your dog, by purposefully smiling at the trees around you and just wishing the universe well and asking the universe to have your back. Develop some sort of personal practice for barriers in the right way and getting rid of barriers in the wrong way. The barriers in the wrong way are cutting you off from life. Ask to have more heart time, more love brought to you, more humor brought to you. If you don't feel like your circle of friends are big enough, you don't have the right type of friends or the right type of relationships or the soulmate thing or all the other worries we have as humans, just put the request out one way to the universe. If you have to do it, make it a walk. By stepping out that door, you've set your intent. Speak to the universe. You don't have to have your neighbors watch you talk one way out loud. You could do it from the heart. Make sure you focus on you. You come first. You got to do self-love first before you can go, quote, change the world and love others and help others and everything else. In fact, if all you did was focus on your own hot stove wasting of energy up top, structure, knowledge, science, evidence-based that, and everything else, instead developed a mindful, meditative, slow approach to love, and you were loved more, oh my gosh, you're unstoppable. Anything you put your focus on, you'll have a blast. You'll have much more fun. That's my dog named Joy walking by, the blonde one. She's named after an angel named Joy, who is the ambassador communicator that helps people let go, helps you get out of your head into your heart. You'll see her all over the different shows, every APL show just about. There was one guest I only blew sage to. Everybody else takes steps in 2023 on the show. There's Joy the angel. Ask her a question, get an answer, get a hug. Ask her if you want just to smell flowers right now. If you have to do this to get yourself to calm down about the concept, great. If you have to go for a walk, pause the video. If you have to go hug your dog, there's a million ways to let go to get out of here, to get here. But to go this distance can be for some of us 2 lifetimes. And I don't blame anybody if you're reticent, resistant, doubting, whatever. Only you can make your own decisions. Only you can flow your own energy. So with that, love more, allow more, and remember, being by doing, doing by being. It's the Shakespeare to be or not to be. Take a chance, be more, have fun with everything, let go and allow the universe to do its job. Let your relatives do their job, let your loved ones do their job, let your guides, your angels, the light beings, your whole support squad. It's like you're in a marathon and don't know it, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. Slow and steady wins the race, as one of my guests said this year, amazing guest, Paul Sugar, on a few panels this year and on a few shows. He'll be coming back in January to tape a second episode. So it's a marathon, but you've got this invisible support squad. If you just want to acknowledge them, they're going to do more for you. How much, a lot of us feel like we have to shoulder everything and do everything solo. That's just kind of the harsh upbringing of society that doesn't recognize it's far bigger than we allow for. So the irony of the people looking up at the stars, looking for answers in life, sure, but in a way it's interdimensional, and if you want to focus on the positive, then meet tens of thousands of light beings and angels and beings of very big substance that could handle all the questions for the whole UAP alien disclosure crowd. You could get going right away. Human beings in 3 hours flat could raise their consciousness level or expand if we wanted to. That's a big if. Who has time for this? I've been doing this for 10 or 12 years, knocking on doors, sending out emails. I think I've been rejected 8,000 times, but I've gotten 4,000 or 5,000 no's, and I've benefited from this. I have a thicker skin, I hope, a better sense of humor, a better sense of compassion, hopefully growing my patience quotient as I see a little ball of light right here. So I am extremely thankful for exactly how it's unfolded. I get to keep repeating the same thing. If you're hearing this the same way or anything else, don't be surprised. But my message is you have unlimited opportunity for growth, always, no matter where you are. Even if you're a 50-year, 5 decades of healing straight, you're already a New York Times bestseller 15 times over. There's still more growth and expansion, and there's still more angels to meet. And you probably haven't walked with angels in human form full on, where you can pinch them and they can pinch you. There's always more to do, experience, more to see, and more fun to be had. With that, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. Please subscribe, and please share this with someone. The panels are amazing. Be sure to check those out. There's a lot of content, and if you'll just allow, that content will jump to life even more than was intended by the video. Angels will jump in as well. Maybe listen to it on a walk. Listen to it while you go to take a nap. Let my voice drone on till you fall into your heart in a great slumber. With that, happy 2023. Thank you very much.